what you could do right now is that if you are still in the level wherein you are still young and young enough to make mistake and recover from it, then just accept any job offer that's being offered to you, regardless of how much, regardless of where it's located, regardless of the nature of the job. Just accept it. After all, you're still young to make mistakes and you can recover from it.
Hi, this is Doreen. Welcome to Super with Cooper. How ready are you for the new normal? It's inevitable. It's definitely coming our way. And today, I invited a seasoned human resource professional to help us prepare for the new normal. Hi, Oliver. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello. Yes, Oliver, can you please quickly introduce yourself to all our viewers?
Hi, I'm Oliver Requilman. You can call me Liv for short. I've been around for, I think, 25 years already, if I'm not mistaken. 20 years of that is in human resources. So currently I'm teaching an MBA. I'm on an MBA program, and at the same time I'm also teaching an MBA program in a local university in Metro Manila.
Well, I have a lot of questions that I'm looking forward to asking you, and I'm very excited to hear your perspectives on certain things. And I'm sure our viewers are also looking forward to hearing some HR insights from you today. And the first question, Liv, that I wanted to ask you was, as an HR leader, how do you think will the new normal look for companies and professionals in the Philippines?
I guess that new normal will eventually become our new normal, and no one will make a fuss about the new normal anymore. The playing field, or should I say the landscape, as I see moving forward, is going to be a combination of technology and of course human touch or human element, and there will be more jobs that could go across borders. So I guess there's going to be more improvement with the use of technology. We will somehow be fluid in our adjustment towards it, as long as the technology is present and reliable.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights. I was having this conversation with a training partner a few weeks ago, and this training partner of mine, she's become a really good friend also, and she was telling me, Dorian, imagine how it will look like when things go back to normal, so to speak. And she was saying to me, it took a while for some people at least, to adjust to having everything on video, and now we have to readjust to what we perceived to be normal before, or at least maybe a hybrid of everything on video and doing things in person again. So yeah, I mean, I guess for some people the adjustment phase is easier compared to others, but at the end of the day, as you said, we have to adjust. It's simply the way things are, and people will. Did I get that correct?
Correct. And at the moment we adjust to the new normal, I think swinging back to the old normal will be the daunting task. It's going to be another daunting task, and I think eventually what we have new now will eventually become old, and the old will just become a thing of the past, part of our history.
What mistakes have you observed that some people have made in terms of their careers during this pandemic? Have there been missteps, or are there things that you've observed people do that you think they could have done better?
Right. I think we both know that at the start of pandemic in 2020, there's a sudden increase in unemployment.
Yeah.
And unemployment, a lot of organizations have filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And they have cut down the size of their manpower, and so we ended up with, I think, about an additional of 3% on what was already 3 million. We added 3 million on what was already 4.7 million last year on the first quarter of 2020. So you're looking at around 7 or 8 million unemployed as of October of 2020. So with that being said, whoever sent their applications and who got an interview, lucky enough to get an interview for a particular set of skills, particular set of competencies, is on the state of survival, and they would rather pick anything that's being offered to them. And a few minutes ago, before we started, I was having a chat over Viber with a very good friend of mine, actually a brother in Masonry, who kind of felt depressed because it's difficult for him to look for a job. He's overqualified already. So I have no other means of lifting up his spirit, but to motivate him to just pick any available job that is out there. Because right now we are all in survival mode. But Doreen, while I say that, in contrast, I'm doing what is the opposite of what I'm advocating. While I advocate survival mode for everyone to just pick whatever job is being offered, I myself, on the other hand, is kind of choosy. I'm a bit choosy because I would like to maintain my track. I'd like to maintain my what do you call this? My line of sight. My line of sight is to be a global HR, if not to be the head of operations in any industry, any business. What you could do right now is that if you are still in the level wherein you're still young and young enough to make mistake and recover from it, then just accept any job offer that's being offered to you, regardless of how much, regardless of where it's located, regardless of the nature of the job. Just accept it. After all, you're still young to make mistakes and you can recover from it. After all, it will teach you three main ingredients in surviving management: humility, collaboration, and adjustment, or should we say temperance. That's something that maybe everyone could ponder on. They could ponder on that, because when you are at the stage where you're too young to retire and too old to rehire, you tend to be very cautious and should I say careful in how you push yourself moving forward.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts as well on freelancing, because I believe I saw some statistics which showed that pre-pandemic, I saw this I think in 2019 or 2018, pre-pandemic, there was already a perceived rise in freelancing or in the number of freelancers globally. Where do you think this freelancing fit in with all of this?
The gig economy came about right after 2015. There was a sudden increase when technology became more affordable and data plans became bigger and affordable, and the broadband was easy to get. So I think because of that, everybody decided, and plus of course the generation, the millennial generation added to that. The millennials are the kind of workforce that doesn't want to be held by the collar. So how is it going to affect others in terms of the situation we are in? I mean, look at Grab Food and Food Panda and other food service delivery. Some of them are actually employees working 8 to 5 or 8 hours straight, and yet what they do is that they have a side business. They go for a side business to do food delivery on the side. So gig economy is going to be there for the next coming 10 years. It's going to increase. It's going to be a huge opportunity. People will lean more towards gig economy because they have the time to spend with their family in a small condominium with only 2 cars to maintain, subcompact cars to maintain. And that also gave rise to subcompact cars, unlike with the demand coming coming for SUV in the early 2000s. You'd notice a sudden shift. People are moving towards the concept of practicality, and because of that drive and change in the landscape in terms of business, because of the generational trait, it will increase that gig economy. And it's going to be, I think, it might even result to a mainstream economy in coming years. I mean, if you take a look at online food services, right? It is already an industry. Years ago, it was just a racket. We call it a racket. Now we don't call it rackets anymore. We call it business.
So I would like to ask you to just give advice in general to Filipino professionals as we approach the new normal. I mean, vaccines are rolling out, and some offices are slowly going back to the office. Some have hybrid workforce. So there really are different, ways that business is being done right now. And do you have any advice for Filipino professionals in terms of preparing and adjusting to the new normal?
First and foremost, make the most out of what you have right now. You have the time, the space, and everything. So learn something. You don't need to brag a certificate. You don't need to get certified for learning something. What's important is the learning and the experience that you get out of it. So what I'm trying to say is, go log into LinkedIn. Be active on LinkedIn. Be active on YouTube. Watch movies, learning videos. Without having to get certified, without having to get certificates. Go to Coursera, Course Hero. I've been spending lots of time since last year learning many things or having to relearn new things. I mean, old things, relearn old things and learn new things on LinkedIn. So I advise everyone to do the same. Spend this time to learn something new, then relearn something that is already old. Let go of the old practices because it will affect your mindset if you're going to keep those. So relearn those things, let go and change it to a new concept. Now, second, while you are in a survival mode, right, and you are forced to accept whatever is being offered to you, and I know that the feeling is not as how do you call this, extravagant. The feelings are as extravagant or as proud because you are going to just accept whatever is being offered to you. Will you feel like you're being pressed against the wall? Well, always remember that you have a family to go home to. It's not about what is being said on your job title or your business card. I think if you are already on an executive level and you have reached or have spent about at least, let's say, 10 years being an executive leader. So what's the difference if you're going to spend the next 2 years as a regular manager? So I think this time around you need to be more practical. You need to put forward the need of your family first. So whatever it is that you're going to accept, think that you're accepting it not for yourself but for your family. So you have to let go of your big ego of whoever you were in the past. Third is it's not going to be easy. Everything is not easy for us. Always remember that it's not just you. Although we have different stories, we have different level of hardships right now. But never forget that we are all in the same boat. We are all in the same boat. We are all in the same rabbit hole. If you feel that you are depressed, you feel that you are being singled out, get rid of those feelings because we all have different hardships. We all have different level of challenges being faced, but we are all in the same boat. This boat, all of us are in the same boat. This boat is pandemic. This boat is COVID. And you can find all sad stories inside this ship. So never forget that while you are in the rabbit hole, it's not just you. All of us are in this rabbit hole. So while you are at it, you might as well enjoy it. Try to find time. Netflix, even if you find the movie boring, try to be baduy at one time in your life. If you haven't seen a Tagalog movie for the past 5 years, I enjoy to go watch one. Try to catch up with Katniel. I know it's already too late, but well, there's something you could catch up on. I don't know whatever series are there that you could try to be more human this time, because everybody needs everybody needs a human person, not a human being. So be a human person, not just a human being. So I guess those three advices, I hope, is practical enough for everyone to be advised on.
Any
Okay.
specific tips or advice that you would like to give graduating students specifically, because
Oh,
yeah, graduating students who are leaving their schools and going and joining the workforce in the new normal. I mean, that's such a different reality, such a different world. So would you have any tips or advice for them that may be different from your tips or advice for professionals?
well, looking back, as I was about to graduate in college, just to share with you a little bit more to add context to what I'm going to say.
Sure.
I had an OJT experience in one of the first BPO companies in Cebu, because I finished in Cebu Doctors University. So I went to XML Innovator, and the experience was so bad. I mean, not because XML was a bad company. I mean, back in those days, there were still typewriters. There were only few cell phones. Everybody uses landlines, and not everybody has landlines at that time. So what they do is that they put a number, the applicants, they put their numbers there, and then when you call the numbers, you have to look for another person who knows that person who used that number. So that was the experience I have had in recruitment at that time in human resources. So as I was about to graduate, I said to myself, I don't want to be in human resources. I said, I'd rather die first than to land a career in human resources. That's exactly what I said to my friends, you know. In my case, I somehow landed an opportunity in human resources. But at that time, even before I transitioned to human resources, I was so bent in pursuing a career in brand management. I was bent on pursuing marketing as my profession at that time. It just so happened that when I transitioned to human resources, another opportunity came along, and then from then on, I'm already here in human resources. So I think that's one thing that everybody, as a graduating student, should understand and should try to have in their line of sight. As you are about to go to the stage, right now you need to know what you want. Because knowing what you want, you will build on that. You will behave and do things exactly for the purpose of getting what you want. I'd spend 8 hours a day. I'd eat inside the internet cafe shop. I'll eat inside the internet cafe shop, and then I'll go on, what do you call this? I'll eat on the desktop, and then I'll draft my cover letter specifically for that organization alone. And then on Sundays, because back then there were too many print ads on weekends, and on Sundays you get about more than half of sometimes it's the same as thick as the headline or thicker than the headline. You'd end up with the classified ads corporations looking for people. So that's how thick the classified ads before. This is the headline, and you're looking at this thick classified ads. So I'd spend my entire week. I'd start off on Sunday looking for jobs that I know that I want. So I think that's something that we, as graduating students, should take as a tip. Know what you want.
Well, I can say that you didn't just know what you wanted, you also worked really, really hard for it. And again, I just wanted to thank you for your time today, Liv. Thank you very much for joining me on my blog. And I really appreciate, me on behalf of everybody's who's watching this, really appreciates everything that you shared with us today. Again, thank you, and stay safe, Liv.
All right. Thank you, Doreen. See you. Stay safe.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Learn, learn, learn. Remember that you have a family to go home to, and remember that it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Adjusting to the new normal, as Liv shared, again, is not easy, but there are things that we can do. Actually, there are things that we can get started on doing now that can help us do even better as we move into the coming months and years ahead. I'll catch you again next time.